we have got a patch watch to go over. For those who don't know, patch watches are really coming from the things that don't make it to the proper roadmap but are still important to know. It's easy to miss these kinds of things if you're not tied by the eyeballs to Star Citizen. But they're also not going to be like game changers. They're not going to make your life better or anything like that. Well, they might actually. If you're a miner, they might. Let's touch on this and you'll see why. Welcome to another patch watch, friends. I got to be able to read first. These posts shine a light on upcoming features, improvements, and fixes that may not appear on the public roadmap, but are updates we believe you'll find valuable. First one we're touching on for 4.1.1 is refineries. We've made a number of targeted improvements to the mining gameplay loop in Alpha 4.1.1, including adjusting mining lasers and the modules, improving difficulty scaling, better mineable distribution for FPS and vehicle mining, better rock and atlas geo handling, and various bug fixes that you can view in recent patch notes. They are doing a lot with mining this year. Like I think there was one update right after salvage came in when mining got another pass, and it was the first pass it had gotten in a while. They spent a lot of their early time updating the UI, updating the way that rocks spawned, and updating the like subcomponents and components that we use now. But there wasn't a lot of sort of quality of life and polish over the last few years, and now they're just hitting it this year constantly. I think obviously it's part of this overall push to get the game up to a better standard, but I do think that this also will feed into crafting, and they need to have it in a good place before we can get things like crafting going. Among these quality of life updates, refineries can now refine output directly into your local inventory. So you no longer have to, because originally it would refine it and then you'd have to go down to the refinery and pick a place for it to go. In the meantime, ore bags will now properly attach to cargo grids and freight elevators. That's the big one, really. I think that's the biggest thing I've seen in mining in a long time. This has been absolutely wrecking the mining community, and I'm sure Red Monster is through the roof with this kind of an improvement. I mean, the whole community, I feel like I've seen is absolutely elated with the ability to literally just put a mining bag on a cargo grid. Good for us, though. It had to go directly into the cargo ship. Oh, okay, I see. So you could put it in the inventory, and now you can choose where it goes after that. That means that the person who refines it does not have to be the person who transports it, which is very, very important for group mining, for org-based mining, for just multiplayer in general, which, hey, guys, it's a multiplayer game. This here. We are aware that ore bags are slightly bigger than 2 SCU, which can make them more difficult to place on certain cargo grids, but we have no immediate plans to adjust this. We have, however, fixed the refineries eating up your containers. That's also a good one, but interesting there. The fact that they have no immediate plans to adjust this, well, it sort of refuses to answer a question about the golem, which was, is the golem going to stick to its unique mining bags and everything else will stay the same, or will they eventually update the other bags to match the golem? And this could have been a chance for them to say something about that, but they didn't. So I think, I don't know if there's still no answer to that question, but it does sound like if there's no immediate plan, either they're going to leave that to wait for a long time, which seems like a bad idea because they need to get refining working, or we are going to move forward with different mining bags for different ships, which is also an interesting choice. After the mining and or refining changes we're seeing, we got component balance pass. They said we've rebalanced ship components based on their class types in Alpha 4.1.1. Now, if you go to that guide that we covered just maybe a couple months ago. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So this is dude, they need to make this easier to find. It's in the comlink transmission section. Oh my God, they don't even have this in the FAQ. Wait a second. Does that mean the only way you can find this is by scrolling back through the comms link? That can't be possible, right? There's no way that would be the case. They wouldn't just release a guide that you can't reference. Because this is supposed to teach you about components, how they're supposed to work, how they're supposed to be categorized, their type, the types of components there are, how to identify them, what they do. All of this is official from CIG, and it's meant to be what we know going into engineering be released. But it's hidden, apparently. So this is important to go through. I mean, I would, if I was you, I would take a look at it. We published a deep dive into it on the YouTube channel if you'd like an audio version. But all of this is basically a lead-in into engineering and how ships are going to work long term. Now, it's important to know this stuff, and this kind of just doubles down on the fact that they're moving forward with this in a big way. We see the engineering work going on. We're going to read about that in the monthly report. We can see that they're starting to officialize this information, put it in guides, make it a little bit slightly easier to find. And they're releasing things like AI blades, which are linked to the computer component, which I think the fact that we're seeing AI blades is proof that they are also updating the computer component so that they can get all of the ship systems into working order together. So now we can see here that they rebalanced ship components in the new update. Civilian level, average overall performance with the benefit of low maintenance overheads, competition level, high performance and low weight, but with trade-off of low durability, fewer options for power management, and the loudest signatures across all classes. So these are the people who don't want to, if you don't like engineering or the idea of it, don't fly these ships. They're low durability, they'll take more work to keep running. Industrial ships, heavy and power hungry, this class excels in durability and heat management and also has lower maintenance costs. If you hate the idea of engineering, industrial components will be for you because you won't have to touch them as much and they won't break on you. Military ships, extremely durable and highly configurable, with the loudest output of any class at the cost of significant signature admittance and power consumption. Again, durability. If you hate engineering, there you go. Stealth, components that are most fragile, and their output is in the middle of the pack. However, they consume very little power and have lower minimum power consumption and produce extremely low signature emissions. This reduced minimum consumption makes them more flexible to power management, allowing you to easily adjust their settings without overburdening your power pool. So these are very high performance, very specialized, and very valuable, but they are the most fragile. So you'll have to keep up with their performance and their maintenance to make sure they work well. This, guys, you can't understate how important it is that they're starting to break this out. As you can see, we have all the classes here that we just went over, but there's also the sizes. So depending on which ship you have, you'll have different sizes. Then there's also grades, D, C, B, and A. All of these things have power signatures, coolant that needs to be fed to them, and they will all have different types of components, obviously, depending on what they do. This is all just building depth into ships, making them feel more like a home, a permanent place, and preparing for this stuff to come online. But folks, do not take this lightly. We're going to start to see people complaining about, oh, my ship is starting to break more than it did. What's up with this? That's because they don't have the components that they want in there. Or, oh, my friend's ship is like speeds up faster than mine. I don't know. All these things that make components actually matter might actually start to become a common topic now. That being said, this is just update 1 where this kind of a balance pass is happening. I think it will still take a few quarters for this to really, really start to affect people. I'm not talking in terms of weeks here. I'm talking in terms of quarters. The end of stock ship. I don't think the end of stock ship will happen until they can figure out their persistence problems in between patches. Seriously, like, if there is a chance that I'm putting something on my ship and I come back to that ship in a month and that thing isn't there, I don't want it. I'm not interested. I'm going to wait until we can, like, I'm not, like, you guys know me. I don't really fly ships that much. I'm not into flying the ships. I'm not into customizing the ships as I am for somebody else's ship as an engineer, but I'm just not really all that crazy about getting my ship into some specific place until I know it's going to stick. Shield generators are getting an update in 4.1.1. Civilian level shield generators are going to have average stats across the board, reliable and easy to maintain. Competition level shields are going to be excellent at shield regeneration and have a rather quick reboot after collapse, but they're going to have a lower max health. This is perfect for hit and run or short reactive engagements. Industrial shields are going to have the highest health pool among all classes. However, regeneration is going to be slow and reboot time after collapse is going to be long. It is best to tank a lot of incoming damage. So industrial pilots, or rather the pilots, man, dude, this already gets more interesting. Once we can start putting components that do different things for your ship into your ship, I mean, now you're saying, hey, I've got a Polaris, but I'm going to throw industrial shields in it so they last longer. They're not as strong. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're stronger than military shields, but they have low regeneration. So like you can then strategize. Maybe I want a ship that can sweep into the battle, take all the damage, distract everybody, really like aggro everyone, and then move out so that it can regenerate without taking the rest of the damage, giving everybody a little bit of a break. That's just like one of many strategies you can come up with when your components start doing different things. I love that. All right, military shields, strong in both health and regen, making it a go-to for direct combat. Downsides, though, are they include a longer reboot time after collapse. And then there's stealth shields, the lowest health and regen rate, but reboots extremely quickly. Great for skirmishes or situations where you need to get in and out fast. So the other thing I want to see them do with these shields is, this is such a hard thing to figure out. I feel like shields should be very powerful and give us a long time to react, kind of like they do right now. And then armor should also do something similar, because the more you diversify shields, the more there needs to be a range of performance times they can have, right? If you're applying the same DPS to shields, let's say you have the lowest grade civilian shield and the highest grade industrial shield, there should be a huge gradient in the amount of time it takes to deplete those. But in order for that to be the case, the longest amount of time that it's going to take to deplete shields has to be really long. And I realize that sounds bad because then it makes everything sound like it's going to be a bullet sponge. Everything's going to take forever to kill. You're just sitting there holding the trigger. We've seen it on this stream. That just gets kind of old. So I think a combination of doing that, but also focusing on the shield face gameplay and having to focus on a certain shield face, and then making components able to be destroyed, could make this really interesting. I wouldn't want to see them diversify all this stuff or make all these specific adjustments and then not have them actually be that different in practice. So I hope these are noticeable changes, even in this first update. I hope that we are starting to hear people say, hey, I'm noticing this about my ship. What's the solution? And then people can come out and say, try these components. And that person can try those components and be like, yeah, that worked. That's amazing. That's a new step forward for Star Citizen. I mean, I know they've had some component customization over time, and we've been trading things out over time, but I've never felt like they had a good balance in mind or a good way forward for how it was going to work. Everything they did always felt like they were just going to do something else the next patch. And what they've been doing in terms of balance and adjustments for ship gameplay feels like it's more focused on something we can actually rely on. So I look forward to seeing how this segment is received. Next up, we've got Wicklow currency and Emporium expanded. There are new rewards available through Wicklow missions. You're also going to find new items that our Banu friend is especially eager to collect. He wants juvenile Valakar fangs collected from dead Valakar, guild scripts found on high-profile NPCs and in various interesting places. You also get these as rewards sometimes. Had a video about this on Space Tomato. I would check that out. It's a talk about physicalized currencies and what they can do for Star Citizen going way beyond 411. We're also seeing Ace helmets, which can be collected from Ace pilots that you have vanquished in patrol and ambush missions. The higher the difficulty, the greater the chance of spawning an Ace pilot that can be looted for extra rewards. We went over these missions yesterday that are getting added. You can check that video out. Pretty cool, but there's nothing specific about these helmets yet, I think. I cannot wait until we start seeing helmets that have... I think they said that pilot helmets are going to have the ability to cast MFDs while the other ones wouldn't. But I'd also see maybe some better targeting that you can get from having special helmets. But they haven't said anything about that, at least not for this update. Once you defeat an ace pilot, a voice line will suggest searching their body, where you can find 3 guild scripts. Wicklow the Collector values these scripts highly and offers exceptional rewards for return. Wicklow's Emporium's upper floor is now open to the public. I guess if you're from England, you would call that your first floor. Weirdos. Have fun exploring this mysterious new space. That's cool. Wonder what'll be there. Who's this? Is that Chris? Improved looting. We have not heard anything about this before. We've polished the looting interaction. The F prompt will now smoothly appear on the closest available item or corpse you're looking at without the need to wiggle around to find the right angle. Oh yeah, I saw somebody showing this on a quick video on Reddit. I think it was a week or 2 ago. So we know this has happened. Basically, they just made it work how it's supposed to. I mean, I'm not to crap on the devs' work. I appreciate this fix. It's always better when it's performing better, and the fixes come over time to make them do well. But we were told that these kinds of features were going to be dropped into the game at Squadron 42 polish level when they first showed them off at CitizenCon 2023. So it's kind of like, okay, this is the feature and the quality it was supposed to be at in a year ago in 3.23. But hey, I appreciate the added functionality. I do. Accidental pickups that previously caused chaos, like dropping your fully modded weapon into a pile of loot, should now be a thing of the past. Anything really that makes stuff work better when we're physically interacting with it would be great, because you still don't really know if you're going to hand your pen, that med pen, put it on the ground for your friend to use. He's bleeding out. He's at 25%. You can hear him over there. He's wheezing in your ear. Like, bro, shut up. That's gross. You got that beeping sound going on. And there's also the wheezing. It won't stop. Just constant strain and tension, and then you put the med pen down and it falls to the floor. Like, okay. So I appreciate this kind of stuff. You like that wheezing? I gotta have my Star Citizen distress sound effects on hand because I'm in so much distress all the time. All right, the Argo RAFT is getting an update. It's received several changes, resulting in a slight adjustment to its cargo capacity. To improve loading and unloading, the 3 cargo arms have been replaced by a single cargo grid, now supporting 192 SCU. Additionally, the old rail-style tractor beam system has been relocated to the left, with operations controlled from the rear control room. We're also actively addressing several recently reported issues as the elevator, missing collision, tractor beam, missing thruster, faucet, and more. Yeah, I've put out my piece on this. You can find that on Space Tomato 2 here as well. Something like the raft is losing something or something, I don't know. The cargo capacity change on this is fantastic. That's a lot of cargo. Makes the ship a lot more valuable. And overall, this change is good for the raft. Like, this is definitely a net positive change, but I can't get over the fact that one of the coolest things about this ship was that you were going to be able to just land, drop, and take off. Kind of like, I think there's a helicopter that works like that, but my greatest example is that the Star Wars Clone Wars scene where the drop ship will come in with like the AT-AT, or is it ATE? Is it ATST? Crap, I don't even remember which one it is. Wait, how did I say Star Citizen? Oh my god, my poor freaking brain. God. I type in the word star and I'm lost. So yeah, it's not the AT-AT, is it? What is this dang thing called? Is it the ST? ATST? LAAT? Am I that far off? Too many letters, dude. LMAFO? Yeah, LA. Oh, the gunship is called the LAAT. What is the ground vehicle called though? And whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's this one. It's the one that's missing the bottom, and it transports the assault thing. This? Yeah. I don't know what the heck that's called. ATST. That's the thing on the 2 legs. So whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. I always kind of pictured the raft to work like that. ATTE. Thank you. Because this was like the coolest part of Star Wars for me back then. I got really into spaceships because of this ship specifically and how it was used in Star Wars Episode 2. From then on, my idea of a drop ship was always just like drop, go. And I think the Pelican and Halo worked like that too. So I was excited to see that work with the raft. You could have some people on the ground. You could run a regular route to these people on the ground. They have tractor beams. You land, drop that cargo off, and you're away. Those people move the boxes. Another raft comes by, drops, and it's away. But now with this system, you are going to have to sit there and manually take the boxes off. And I feel like you're losing something from that identity. But clearly, they needed to do it to make it work better, and the solution they had wasn't going to work. So that is at least the first patch watch. Don't know if it's the only patch watch or not, but that's a little update on 4.1.1 and some of the smaller yet still kind of big updates that are coming with it.